Okay, hello everybody. Nice to see you guys again. So today we finished the two quarterfinal games in the EuroBasket. I'm going to talk about them. Were the results a surprise? Not too much. I mean, Finland, Spain. Yeah, I think everybody was expecting Spain to win, which happened. Actually, Finland started the game quite nicely. They went ahead about 15 points. I think the problem with the Finnish team, the Finland team, was at the beginning of the match, they made lots of three pointers, but there was going to be a point when their three pointers were going to stop, and unfortunately, that point came at the in the second half, and so Spain managed to get themselves into the game. So yeah, Finland. I think the problem with Finland, while I always said Finland has one of the best squads of the whole tournament, and they had a very big chance of a surprise. I think the biggest problem with Finland was that they relied on, I think, three pointers a little bit too much. I mean, if they could, and the reason for this is obvious. I mean, all five. Members of the Finnish team can basically shoot 3 points, and they don't really have like a big dominant center player. So of course they have to rely on 3 point shots a little bit more. And when these 3 points don't go down, unfortunately, like in the second half, they have a big problem. And of course, I think in the second half, especially Spain managed to defend Markkanen very effectively. I think the best part of Spain came when Diaz came into the game. At the beginning, Coach Scariolo, didn't use Diaz, but when Diaz came, he became like a defensive lock to many of the Finnish players, and he actually improved the Spanish defense quite well, and he also managed to sink in several very critical 3 points at the same time as well. So I think the turning point of the game was when Scariolo put Diaz in the game, and that I think Diaz and I think I should say Garuba. Diaz and Garuba both had a very positive impact, and I think those two names basically made Spain's job easier, especially in the second half. I mean, Garuba is the kind of player, like I said, Finland will have very difficulty guarding because he's big, but he's also at the same time mobile. He can go outside. He can also shoot the ball, but also play a physical game inside as well. So Finland, of course, had a very big difficulty guarding a guy like Garuba, and also I think one of the aspects that Spain dominated in the game was the offensive rebounds. I think I saw this especially in the game against Turkey in the group stage as well. Spain has a very effective offensive rebounding ability. So they use this here as well, and I think that also ultimately helped them to get ahead in the game as well. So yeah. Markkanen didn't score as much as he scored in the previous match. I think he again managed to pass 20 points, but not that much. Like I said, I enjoyed this Finland team. They also, qualified. They were the first qualifying team from Europe for the Basketball World Cup in 2023. So I think Finland shouldn't, lose hope. They have a very good generation here, and I love the fact that Finland managed to, they have like three very veteran players, and the rest of the team is basically young guys. So they have this very good chemistry between the three veterans, Koponen, Sean Huff, and Sasu Selin, and the rest of the younger guys. And I think this good chemistry forms them into a very good team. And I think if they can manage to keep the same momentum going and, of course, replace some of the older players who are unfortunately retiring after the end of this tournament, like Koponen and Sean Huff, they can, I think, carry on further in their basketball careers. So I'm hopeful. I like the fact that Finland is actually not only basically they not only look for Markkanen for everything. The other players can join in and do their jobs, or score the ball, or score the points when necessary, defend when necessary. So they're not all based on Markkanen. Yes, Markkanen increases their game play very much, but even without Markkanen, they can play a very effective game. So that's a very good part of the Finnish team. I mean, we saw this especially in the World Cup qualifiers, where they couldn't use Markkanen for much of the games, so they still managed to effectively qualify for the World Cup. So, like I said, I was, and I'm still very much impressed with the Finnish team, and I hope. They can continue in their good trajectory, because I think, especially in European basketball, the Scandinavian countries need to kind of come to the forefront a little bit more. They have always been at the kind of the bottom of the list, so to say. So I think it's about time we see some of the Scandinavian teams come to the forefront in European basketball, and I think Finland is doing this very, very effectively. When it comes to Spain, of course, Spain, I think another big reason why Spain won this game was because of basically their they were the more experienced team. They had the more tournament experience, more Eurobasket experience. In fact, I think there was a statistic at one point in the game that said Spain actually qualified for the semifinals since the Eurobasket 1999. So from Eurobasket 1999, they have been qualifying for the semifinals for each and every single Eurobasket tournament. So they have a very effective experience in that regard. So I think that helped them to win the game in the end. Of course, also the Hernan Gomez brothers played a very effective game. Like I said, this was partly because Finland didn't really have a strong defender in the paint for big players. So Spain managed to use this very effectively in terms of the Hernan Gomez brothers. Of course, when you talk about Spain, they don't have guys like the Golden Age Gasol brothers. They're finding a new generation, and I think it's happening. In fact, it's happening faster than I imagined. I was expecting a little bit more slower development of the new Spanish generation in basketball, but I think this is nice to see. The new generation coming. Also, of course, I think definitely there was one player who actually made Spain win this game, and that was the legendary Rudy Fernandez. I mean, he sank so many very critical 3 points, especially at the last during the last 5 minutes of the game. He was just, I mean, he basically proved why he was a legend and part of that golden generation of Spanish basketball from the mid 2000s to the end of the 20s, basically. So, of course, Spain doesn't have guys like Ricky Rubio. He's out from injury, I think, and but they still managed to, I think, play a very effective game by using Rudy Fernandez as their, basically captain, the older veteran player, and having very effective role players next to Fernandez. I think, I think Spain has a very big chance to go all the way. I can definitely see a future final in their future. Of course, Germany is also a very good team, so the semi-final between Germany and Spain will be, I think, probably one of the, if not the best game of the tournament. I mean, the way I watched the German team, I'm so impressed. I mean, Germany, I think I could clearly say that Germany is the best team in terms of team. They don't have just one player. They are very effective as a team, and I think that's why they are so successful and they played such effective games. Everybody does everything. I mean, they have. I mean, what I'm trying to say is everybody knows their roles in the team and acts according to those roles. I mean, they've got the shooting big guy in Timan, the mobile big guy. They have Wolfart as the big center guy. They have Ops as their shooter. They have Schroeder as their point guard, scorer, all round game creator basically. And so they have Franz Wagner again, their shooting guard, small forward, very effective player. Franz Wagner. He can drive, he can shoot, he can create possession, create games. So it's a very, and the good thing about the German team is even when they substitute the players, that those who come into the game play as effectively, maybe more effectively than the starting five. So everybody has their roles and everybody plays. All 12, in fact, we can say all 12 players in the German team play very effectively, and I think that's probably why they are so effective, and they play. They also play such a visually pleasing game as well. I mean, almost all of their games that I watched were very entertaining. So I think we can say that, probably in terms of the becoming a team category, we can effectively say that Germany has become a very good team, and they became a real team, and as a result, they are becoming successful, and they beat Greece, another tournament favorites. They beat Greece and the Antetokounmpos, and I think very deservedly won their place in the semifinals. In terms of Greece, I think Greece, from time to time, they had good defending. Larenzakis played good defense, but I think they couldn't really share the ball too much in terms of the scoring. They only depended too much on Giannis Antetokounmpo, and Giannis can also only get you so far in terms of scoring. A little bit more sharing of the scoring, I think, could have worked better. I mean, Greece has an effective team, but I think the biggest problem they face is they rely a bit too much on the Antetokounmpos. I mean, obviously, Antetokounmpo is a star. He's an MVP in the NBA. He's one of the best players to ever play in the basketball game. But I think, Greece should have options for playing without Antetokounmpo as well. Different options. So basically, the problem I saw while I was watching the Germany game was that they played too much of an obvious game. I mean, Germany could basically understand what kind of offense they were going to make and take their defensive protection according to those very obvious offenses of the Greeks. They couldn't really. They couldn't really become unpredictable. Greece couldn't really become unpredictable in terms of their offense. They did the same thing all over again. Give the ball to Giannis, wait for him to drive or shoot, or turn the ball around, find an empty shooter. I think, Greece needed to have a little bit more unpredictability in terms of their offense to succeed against Germany, and unfortunately, they couldn't do that. So Germany won the game. Of course, it was a funny situation. Both the stars of the both teams, we could say, Antetokounmpo and Schroeder, were thrown out. If you want my honest opinion, I think the referees in this tournament, while they're generally very good, they were a little bit too trigger happy when it comes to giving technical fouls. I think a little bit more leniency with the technical fouls could go a long way, but I understand why they also do this, because they want to keep the control of the game in their hands and not in terms of the players. Because we also saw too many occasions in the games when the coaches especially talked too much with the referees, and I think this is also something that I don't like. I mean, everybody's trying to get their way in terms of the referees to influence them, but I think it's a good idea to maybe sometimes use technicals, but not always, to keep the authority in the referee. So in terms of this, I think it was effective. So to sum up, the two quarterfinal games on Tuesday were very good games. I think both deserved teams win, Spain and Germany. I'm very much looking forward to the semi-final game between Germany and Spain. I think that's going to be one of the best games of the tournament. And if we have to look at the quarterfinal games today, we have France, Italy. Very difficult game. I was very impressed with Italy's, performance against Serbia in the round of 16. Nobody was expecting Italy to win the game against Jokic. So it's kind of funny. Both Jokic and Giannis Antetokounmpo, two NBA superstars, are out of the tournament now. Only Doncic is remaining. So basically, I think this can give us idea that there is more to basketball than superstars, right? So no, superstars not only make you win games, there are much more elements of a basketball match that make you win a games, right? So I think we can take this lesson from here. So in terms of the France-Italy match, I think if Italy can close up the paint and make life difficult for Gobert in the paint, because Gobert was very effective in the round of 16 game against Turkey. If they can manage to close out Gobert and stop him a little bit, and if they can repeat their performance in the round of 16 against Serbia, Italy has a chance. The Italy that I saw against Serbia reminded me of the Italy in the mid 2000s or the 90s, the very strong Italian team. The guys that had the squad that had guys like Carlton Myers, Fuchka, Basile, guys like that, Meneghin, Marconato. That was one of the best Italian squads. So their performance in the round of 16 matches actually reminded me a little bit of the Italy of those era. And if they can manage to recapture that same attitude, they have a chance of going to the semifinals. And I think Italy might, because if they can keep the momentum of that very good win against Serbia, and I think they probably will keep that momentum and go into the match with this momentum intact, I think they can get the win here. I was also impressed with Fontecchio in Italy, very good player, Fontecchio. He's going to the NBA this year, very deservedly. Italy has very good. I find Italy to be a little bit like Germany. They have very good role players. They also have veterans like the Tome, Meli. With the more youngsters in the squadron like Paiola, Fontecchio. Paiola is one of my favorite players. He's a very good defender, but also he can score when it's needed. So I think Italy has a good chance here. France can win if they can spread their scoring, if they can get the ball and get Gobert going in the paint. I think I talked about this before. I think the biggest problem France have is with their point guards. I think they needed to bring De Colo to this tournament. They couldn't. They're going with Albasi, Tarpe, and Hertel. While all three of them are effective guards, I think they're not very dominant, and so in terms of scoring, France need to share the scoring a little bit more among its players. If they can't do that, they will have difficulty in the game like that. And the second game, the second quarterfinal of today, Slovenia-Poland. I think Slovenia should probably consider themselves lucky in the sense that on paper they have the easiest draw in the quarterfinals, I think, with Poland. Again, I think Poland is a team that surprised me very much. They have very effective players. I loved Balcerowski in Poland, the young big guy. He's tall. I think he's 2 meters 18 or something, but he can shoot the ball so effectively. He can rebound. He can post up in the paint. He can go outside for the 3 points. So he became one of my favorite centers in the whole tournament. So Balcerowski is very effective. Also, I think many people are underrating Ponitka, Mateusz Ponitka in Poland, very effective player, all-around leader. I think the leader of the team, Polish team, I think we can say is Ponitka. So I was talking with my friend a little while ago. I think. I would probably love to see guys like Ponitka and Balcherovsky get transferred to bigger teams in Europe. Maybe EuroLeague teams if they're not playing in EuroLeague already. So yeah, I think this tournament showcased some very effective cheaper players. I mean cheaper in terms of the fact that they can be cheaper to transfer. When we talk about economically, not in terms of their playing style. So yeah, for example, I would put the Finnish point guard Maksuni into this category. I think very effective point guard Maksuni, and I think he can be transferred. For a better team in the future. I could put Bobrov, maybe Pustovoy from Ukrainian team, into this category as well. Ukraine also had very effective role players from Poland, guys like Ponitka, Balcherovsky, Sokolovsky again, very effective player. I think from Poland, all these players can have. I think they showcased themselves very effectively in this tournament, and I think they can find. That their value as a player has risen as a result, I think, and I think they will go if they're already not playing there. They could go into much better teams in the future as well. So yeah, Slovenia probably is the favorite on paper, but you never know. Basketball is such a sport that you can never know truly until you can never know a result truly until you play a game. So while Slovenia is the absolute favorite, Poland can still surprise, although I highly doubt it. I think Slovenia will take the second match and they will go into the semifinals. At the end of today, so Slovenia, yeah, Doncic, I think will probably go all the way because they have a very effective team. They have Toby as their big guys, and then they have the Dragic's. They have guys like Prepelic and effective. So they actually managed to make an effective squadron around Doncic as well. But Doncic is a pure scorer. I mean, the guy amazes me. He can score any and every kind of way. So I think, yeah, Slovenia is the very big favorite, but I wouldn't rule Poland out completely. I think Poland might. I think it would be this game would be closer to the Finland-Spain game in terms of the fact that Poland might hold on to a close game until the first half, but in the second half, I think Slovenia will take over the game, and because of their more, experience and win the game in the end. But like I said, I think we should be very happy that we see some more, how can we say, maybe less stronger teams in the quarterfinals. Teams like Poland, Finland, Ukraine, who were relatively successful, I think, in this tournament. So yeah, I think overall the tournament has been very good so far, and I expect the same quality of the tournament to continue in the semifinals as well, right? So like this. Thanks for listening, everybody. I hope you enjoyed and you took some ideas from my opinions of the games, and I will try to return back after the quarterfinal matches have all finished and after the semifinal matches have been decided, and I'll try to give my opinions about the semifinal matches before they are finished as well, guys. So thanks everybody, and I'll see you next time.